since we have done a live stream together. Good to be. So, this is live stream number 31, I think. Right. So, some updates since last time. I don't know if you could see this little cover on the Max Air fan. It's a big mess. We need to do some organizing, that's for sure. Insulation, all done. Partition wall. Oh, that's new. Let's see if that's a better view. Little door that I'm working on now. I'm going to do a sliding door, and I might just do this temporarily. Right there, exhaust for diesel heater. That is mostly installed, 90%, I would say. What else? I don't know if you can see that, but that is a side step that is also basically installed. Lights, puck lights on the ceiling. I added more switches to those from other convenient locations in the van, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So let us do our usual thing, which is just to let the camera roll while Zevi does his thing, and we get to hang out and chat with Zevi and ask questions if we want to. We remain respectful, and otherwise we are fair game. Okay, I think I may have put in the magnet polarity on the wrong way. No, that seems okay. Let's have a look at that. No, that seems okay, actually. The magnet seems to be right, but for some reason, our top magnet is not sticking. There was some glue sitting on top of the magnet, and I thought I had scraped off that glue, but maybe there's a bit more. So the truth is that I wanted to do a sliding door, but while I had this piece of wood cut out, I thought I would just throw it on two hinges and call it a day for now. But the top one seems not to want to close. Maybe because there's all this super glue holding the magnet in place, and that glue is getting in the way of it closing. So let us trim back the excess glue until we have a bit more of a flush situation. It's feeling pretty flush. Okay, and what about this side? This side's feeling pretty good too. All right, let's give that a shot. Let's see how that action is. Hey, Fusun, welcome to the chat. Good to have you here. Okay, that still does not want to stay closed, and I think I have it aligned well also. Maybe it's off. Maybe I add a magnet and then it stays closed. No, not quite. Something's off. Bless me. Okay. You know what? We're gonna call it for now because that was temporary. All right, people who joined the chat, welcome, welcome. Ooh, we have some quantum modern physics, Zevi Yatsira overlaps. That's always fun. That's always fun. It's always fun. Okay. What's on the to-do list for today? Okay, well, I wanted to put some bolts. Did we give a proper update? I think there's a couple other things that got done. This is a power outlet here. Switches got put in there. This switch I already showed you. That's a new switch. The wall's the big thing. And the inside here, I don't know if you can see, but inside here is a diesel heater, which heats the van nicely when it's switched on. And beneath the van, can you see there? Is the exhaust intake. I actually don't know what you can see here right now because I'm not looking at the screen. Anyways, okay, let's do some of the things that I wanted to try out today. One is, I actually wanted to test, so these two switches here are for some LEDs, and I wanted to test actually combining those switches, because I think I can run those two strips off the same switch. So let's grab a switch and I'll explain what I mean. We have learned a lot about switches in this process, which is so much fun. Okay, where's our switch box? Here. So let me show you something. You see the difference between these two switches? This has two wires coming out of it, also known as two throws. This has 3 wires, or 3 throws. This is called a single throw, this is called a double throw. Okay, let us try something here. So these are both. This is a double throw, you could see. It has 2. It's an on-off switch. These are just on-off, but I want to try to see if I can switch these two for one of those. So, let's try that. We're about to get drizzled on, which is always fun. That can come. That can come through the wool. And now we can just unplug. Is this gonna work? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so if we unplug negative, positive, it might be a little easier to do this at night, so I can see what's happening on the other end when I hit on and off. Oh, welcome. I have Rudy says, I have a personal view, very distinct difference between spirituality, namely Dveikut, and religion, which is of the intellect. What's your view of religion and spirituality? That's interesting. I tend to think of religion more as like a sociological enterprise and construct, whereas I think of spirituality, I mean, also as a construct, but one which is much more dealing with interiority, the individual as opposed to collective. That's generally how I'm thinking. Okay, let's try put positive here, negative in the middle, and then let's take a positive from here. Let's first get a baseline test. Make sure our switches are functioning, and they are. Okay, that's good to know. Have I ever read Marius of Neapolis, the Samaritan convert to pagan Neoplatonism? No, I haven't, but that sounds fascinating. What's their insight? What did you take away from them? Okay. And now I'm gonna put this positive. That positive there. Now, does that do anything more? Okay, we're getting one on and on. Okay. On and on the same strip. Okay. That's interesting, but now I want to see. Now I want to see what happens if I try to combine them. They remain intermediate advancer of Proclus, but it was said that isn't a direct influence in their work from the Samaritans. Reads like Spinoza, though. Fascinating, huh? Interesting. Okay, I'll have to look into this fella. Yeah, we have people joining us. That's so much fun. Let us know where you're dialing in from. Let us know how your day's been. And let's see if we add this negative. Switch. Okay. Now we add the negative to the negative, right? But there's only a single lead on that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Let's do this. Let us splice. Okay, I'm keeping those separate for now because they are separate wires. I'm going to use this loose negative to splice two negatives onto the center negative pole. And you know what two negatives make? Negative when it comes to electricity. Okay, so for this we're going to need, let's do this properly. Let's do this experiment properly. Let's get a Wago three-way. You following? Are people following the logic of what's about to happen here? Do people need a close-up? Let's do a close-up for this shot. So you can see what we're experimenting. Let's try not make a mess. Okay. Let's try that. Okay. So we're gonna put negative on this, and then we're gonna put on the Wago. We're gonna. Oh no, we want a three-way. That's a two-way. So we're gonna chuck a three-way Wago on here, and then I didn't think that popped through because these are not going to connect to the Wago. Let's do that differently. Let's do that a little differently. So yeah, we're just testing out a hypothesis. Let's strip that wire. And let's come back to this view. Strip that wire and enjoying the nice weather in Blue Ridge. VA also despairing that it shouldn't be this warm out right now. Word, yeah. Yeah, I hear ya. To both enjoy it and also despair it. That is legit. Okay. Well, it's nice and chilly here, if that's any consolation. Okay, I wanna be negativing. I want to be hitting both of these negatives together for our experiment. And what's a good way of doing that? Let's wrap them both with this negative contact. This is just for the experiment, both grounded on the negative. Now we're going to hook up our positive to the positive bar And we are still getting grounding. Ooh, I think that worked. No. It did not work. It did not work. They're both turning both of them on. Why would that be the case? And it looks like... Did I short something just now? No. Would you look at that timing? Just then, that is at zero. So I did not short anything, but the battery died. But the battery died just a second long enough for that experiment to fail, because both of them were turning on both negative and positive, which is not what we were trying to do. I don't quite understand why that didn't work, but anyways, I'm going to plug this inside to charge, and I'll be back in just a second to undo our experiment, because we saw that it did not work. I'd still like to understand why it didn't work. Let's run through that. Okay. While that battery charges, we're bringing out the big boy battery. Because I want to test that again, because that didn't make so much sense to me. Alright. That is heavy. Let's see what our charge is at. 99%, perfect. Okay. We have power. That again, because I'm not understanding. So, both strips are on or off together. I don't get it. Okay, I don't get it, but that didn't work. For whatever reason, when I'm giving power to either the top or the bottom, on, off, on, so either on is putting both strips on, even though one positive is wired separately to each. I think I would need a triple throw, or like one with four throws on the back instead of 3. Which I might have, but not what I want to use for this. Anyways, we are learning a lot about switches, and we clearly don't yet know enough to understand what's happening here, which is so much fun. It means there's more to learn. Okay, let's put things back as they were, and we can cross that experiment off our bucket. Okay, so positive, negative. That works. Or did I do that wrong? Maybe I should switch those. I'm forgetting now which way is supposed to be off and which way is supposed to be on. Huh. I think that's... Do I have to Google this? That way is on. That way is on. So, let's try that again. That way's on and off, on and off. Perfect. Okay. Let's do this one. Let's switch that back. And that one is here. And again, we're going to do red on bottom. And black on top, which is, I think, the way it was before. And then that will be on. Perfect. Great. And then we should do this part. You want these flipped around that way. Okay. On and off. Great. 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 Okay. Let us cross that experiment off our job before we run an errand, is to bolt up this. This is half mounted, but it needs to be fully mounted. So let us get under and inspect, and see what we can do. I have these handy mats for sliding into the van without getting too dirty. And let's bring you along. Okay. Let's get under here a second. I want to see. 1, 2, 3 mounting points. Oh, interesting. How interesting. I think I can add more mounting points. Let's put the camera inside. Hi. What I want to see is if I can take more of the brackets, because I have 2 of these runners. And I only need 1. Let's have a look-sees. This. That has diesel in it. Yeah, I can mount these along the length. Let's try that. Ooh, that is hot. I should not have grabbed that. Oh my gosh, that was hot. Okay. Well, there we go. Is it cooled down now? Still warm? Wow. Burned myself on that one. Okay. Now, these ones just slide right in. But that means that we're going to have to dismount it to get more in, right? Okay, well that's some good news and some bad news. Cool. Let's see how many mounting points there are that we might want to add. Oopsies. Because I think if we add 1 or 2 of these, then we'll be distributing our load in a way that will be effective. Okay, I'd say we could add one, at least one in the middle there. Okay. What I'm seeing now is that in order to add that one, there would be no way to do that, presumably, without having to take off the side, which I don't want to do right now. So let's see if we can crack on with just adding bolts to the secondary mounting positions on the side step, and if that will be enough. And if it's not, we will take the whole thing down and add an additional bracket. Feels okay. It feels all right. It feels all right. Okay. Let's add bolts. So black zinc. I have a feeling like these might be stainless steel, which would be stronger. Is that right? Wait, maybe I have a whole box of bolts. Where is my box of bolts? There we are. Switches can go away, and bolts can come out. Why am I giving you my back? That's not so nice. That can come off now. That can go away. Way goes. Go away. Okay. Now, oh, these are hefty bolts. That looks like overkill. Those won't be necessary. Yeah, these are definitely overkill. Where are... They had like a bunch of these guys. Oh. No, not that. Although interesting. Not that. Towel. bolts in here, right? These are all screws. I guess these could work. They just I think they're zinc, which is not as strong as steel. I don't know if they're quite load bearing. Let's try these. Let's try these. Thank you, friend. Welcome. Glad to have you all the way from India joining us. What a delight. That might be a little short, actually. Need a bit more length. I think we do have a box of bolts elsewhere. I'm just not seeing right now. Let's go fishing for a second. One second, I'll be back. All right. Did not find what I was looking for. I think I'm just gonna try these. Okay, let's try those. And for that, we're gonna have to punch some holes in the underbody of the van. Maybe this is the right size? Oh, you come from India originally, now you're living in London. Well, welcome from London as well, man. Okay, I'm gonna get under the van to do some drilling. And for that, we're gonna want some light. Let's get our headlight. I may also want this bit. Let's get back under the bed. And oh, sorry, that was a bit of a twisty journey. Okay. I'm gonna be putting Hull this thing here. So if you want to see, you're gonna have to come here. Opa. Okay. Right there. Okay. Just thinking. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now that hull is going to be too small. We're going to have to make that hull bigger. And for that, we're going to need a bigger bit, and we're going to need some washers. We're going to need a few more things from up top. So let us grab those things. Oop. Okay. Now, interesting. Okay. Okay. Okay, hole number 2 of 3. And now let's do hole number 3 of 3. Okay. Let's tighten those up. Where is the drill? All right. I want some washers. Pardon me. I think I have some larger washers. How does that work? Much better. Opa. Wow, all kinds of interesting complications down there. All right. Time to test out our step. Let's see if it holds. It holds. Let's hope it's secure. Oh gosh. I would say it's pretty good. Just don't like bounce or jump on it, is all I'm saying. Like, I don't want to test it, but it's good. I'd say it's good for standing and stepping on. It really helps. All right, job done. I'm gonna consider that a job done. Bump my head a little while doing that, but all good. Okay, that's been a live stream. Thanks for joining. Catch you next time.